Hi there, my name is Marty and welcome to owingsart.com. I've had many viewers request that I take a look at these White Knight watercolors made in St. Petersburg, Russia. So I had them on order for a while. They were on back order and had to ship from the factory in St. Petersburg, but I finally got them in and I'm very excited to take a look at these popular watercolors. Just tremendous requests for these over the past couple years and just haven't gotten to them. So many other things on the list, but now today finally going to take a look at these. Like I mentioned, they're made in St. Petersburg, Russia, in the same factory they've been making paints, I think, since the early 20th century, so for almost 100 years or so. This particular pocket box comes with full pans versus half pans, which most pocket boxes ship with. But still, they were able to get 12 full pans in here, and I'll show you their little sort of ingenious, there's sort of a slide-in drawer way they get the pans in there, and we'll take a look at that. But you just notice right away, it comes in a nice hard plastic box. It feels comfortable in your hands. It would fit in a bag or a pocket, I think, pretty easily. You pull open this hatch and the lid opens up, and then that is a card that says if you have any problems with this paint, return it to the factory. It's in Russian. I happen to have a Russian friend who translated for me, so that's great. This is a swatch card, and we'll fill that out in a minute with the color. So basically, here's a few things about the video. So in this video, I'll test the color, transparency, layering. We'll just look at the brightness and all that stuff. And then as I do with every product I review, I'll rate the paints. And then at the end, a little bonus Q&A with a subscriber. So here we are. Here's how the 12 pans sit in this pocket box, 4 in a row. And it's kind of an ingenious little slide mechanism in here that these move in and out of. And I thought, well, maybe that'll be disruptive to my painting, but it really wasn't. They don't get in the way at all, but so I had no trouble there. When you pull them out, they kind of just fall out of these slides, so you have to be mindful of just being careful when you pull them out. But there you go, they slide right in there like that. Yep, fit right in nicely. Now with the wrappers on, they fit a little, well, most of them fit a little bit more snugly than they do with the wrappers off, but there you go. You can kind of see how they slide into those channels, just like that. And we'll go over the colors that come in this set in a minute, but I like the way the pocket box is set up. There's a room here for a compact brush if you need one. The colors unwrap really nice. They're in a nice foil wrapper, like most pans are that you get these days, at least from quality manufacturers. And like I said, now you can see how they fit in those little slides, and they fit pretty nicely. No trouble at all there. So the paint, one thing I'll say about the paint is it's easy to get it to be more opaque because it's sort of thick when you dip into it. And I'm used to mixing paint a little bit thinner than that, but anyway, that's something to be mindful of. So there's my color guide. I'm just going to sit it in there like that, and it has the colors in the order that I have them in the box, in the pocket box here. So a real handy reference if I should forget or get colors that are real close in value and forget, or say you're colorblind and you need a guide. Here's one thing I'll note, that there's a lot of bubbles on the yellow there when I started out. And one of the things I did and forgot about was I'd washed my brush not long ago and must have left a little dish soap in it, so I got soapy paint. I had to go rinse it out, but anyway, not the paint's fault. That was totally on me. One thing I did notice about the paints when they went down is there is a somewhat grainy texture to the paint in some of the colors, and it doesn't detract from the colors at all, but I noticed it because it was more pronounced than the paints I usually use, like a Schminke or Daniel Smith watercolors. But I really like the way the colors went down. I like the way they mixed very nicely. But you could see there in the green it's almost like an opaque color. So we'll get into layering here in a minute, but so I've got that nice Isabey brush, and I want it really, it's like a mop brush. It just soaks up so much paint and water. I just wanted to kind of throw that down and see what it looked like if I just mix some crazy colors in there. So you see the blue and red kind of makes a nice purple, and it really mixes nicely. And then I add that yellow in there, and I get a nice, eventually a nice little orange. So yeah, just pouring it on here. But so what I'm looking for here, just trying to get a feel of, is the color and the vibrancy of the paint and how it goes down in a thinner, maybe consistency than I was using before for the swatches. And I'm pretty impressed by the watercolor. It went down very nicely and enjoyable to use. Now here I'm going to try a little more layering. So what I'll do here is I'll lay down a few colors, then wait for it to dry, and then lay some colors over there to see if I can deepen the color yet, or just see how layering works really. You can see here it's pretty nice. I mean, the colors would obviously get deeper as you laid more on top. It's really easy to reactivate this paint though, and so that's a positive depending on what angle you look at watercolors with. But overall, I just really enjoyed my time with these. They're great Russian paints, and I don't own any other Russian paint, so I just think it's cool that these paints are made so far away in St. Petersburg, and here I am in the middle of America. And well, because the Cold War ended, I'm pretty much able to use these anytime I want. Now here's all the colors in the line, and I think there's like 54 or something like that. So you can see here, most of these are pretty highly rated as light fast. There's a few that they rate as moderately light fast, and then there might be one color that's not light fast. But anyway, just really enjoyable to use, and I think a pretty cool product. All right, so it's ranking time. Let's take a look. Well, color 7.5. I think these were nice and vibrant. Layering was great. Transparency really good. Permanence, I had to knock half a point off because they're just not as permanent as I like them. Light fast 7.5. Overall value a 7 because these weren't very expensive at all. A final ranking, a pretty great 7.5 for this. Cool paint. So that's been a look at the White Nights watercolor paints from Russia. And now it's time for the bonus segment, Q&A. You guys always send me great questions. I love to get them. And here's another great one from Debbie T, who says, in your color swatches, I noticed that the Cinnamon number 189 and the Terra Row looks much darker than the Cinnamon 189 and the skin tones. Is one of these mislabeled, or what's going on with the color inconsistency? So she's referring to Faber-Castell Pitt markers. So I had one in the skin tone set and one in the Terra set, and she said the colors looked a little different, or that maybe in the video she noticed an inconsistency. So I thought I'd pull the markers and give them a test here. So the first one is from the skin tone set, and then the second one is from the Terra set. But they're both labeled number 189 and they're both cinnamon. So here's the second pen, and you can see it might be just slightly darker. And I'll even lay down a couple more swatches just to verify here. But they're both the same pen. So oddly enough, if there's a color difference, it's not very significant, at least from what I can tell here. I want to label these so I can remember. But here's a couple more swatches, and then we'll take a close-up look at this. I don't see a huge difference in the bottom ones, but maybe that's slightly darker on marker number 2 on the right. Well, Debbie T, I hope that helps to answer your question, and thanks a lot for sending it to me. All right, guys, this has been a look at the White Nights watercolor and the bonus Q&A segment. Don't forget to share and comment. I always love to get your comments, and subscribe to the channel. All right, for owingsart.com, this has been Marty. So long, everybody. Have a great day.